Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're going to be diving into a topic that many seem to avoid, but it's so important to understand, and that's the types of schizophrenia that there are out in the world. Now, many thought there's probably only one type. Well, lack of information and lack of conversation, I think, is what's helped us think that way. Now, I believe it's time we break the stigma surrounding this specific mental health condition, and knowledge is the first step. So, schizophrenia, as you might know, is often misunderstood. People think they know what it is based on the movies or sensationalized news stories, but there's so much more to it, and this video's aim is to set that record straight. So let's jump into it. So let's start with the basics. Schizophrenia, as many might know, is a chronic brain disorder that affects how a person thinks, feels and behaves. It can cause profound disruptions in perception, thought process and emotional response. And while we often hear about the classic symptoms, there's actually different types of schizophrenia that can impact an individual in very distinct ways. Now, there are 5 types of schizophrenia. That's even more that before I started researching it and before I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia nearly 16 years ago now. I always thought there was 1 or 2 types, not 5, so this was eye-opening to me as well. But there are 5 main types of schizophrenia, and understanding these can really help demystify the condition. So first of all, we have paranoid schizophrenia. This is where individuals experience delusions and auditory hallucinations. Imagine constantly feeling that someone is out to get you. It's terrifying and debilitating. I won't say people out to get me, but it's personally my feelings are towards paranoid schizophrenia that everything is going to go bad. No matter how well I do my job, how good I am as a partner or a father or anything like that, it's all going to go wrong. Everything's going to get taken away from me. That's what it's like to constantly live with this sort of condition, and it can be debilitating sometimes. It feels like, you know, it's an uphill struggle most days. Now, I won't lie to you. Now, next up is disorganized schizophrenia. Now, this type impacts communication and behavior. Someone with this type of schizophrenia may struggle with organizing their thoughts, leading to incoherent speech or behavior that seems nonsensical. They might giggle out of nowhere or jump from topic to topic. In essence, it is the essence of confusion. So now let's talk about it. Catatonic schizophrenia. Now, as the name implies, catatonic, you're not moving, speaking or anything like that. Now, this one's particularly interesting to me because people may be stuck in one position for hours or even days, neglecting basic needs like food and hygiene. But on the flip side, they can also exhibit extreme behaviours and hyperactivity. It's a world full of contrasts with that condition. So you could either be, let's say, in bed for hours or days, or just not sitting still for hours or days. It must be very difficult to live with that condition, in my opinion. Then there's residual schizophrenia. Now, this is where someone has experienced an episode of schizophrenia but isn't currently displaying symptoms. Think of it as a ghost from the past. It's still haunting them, but they seem fine on the surface. Now, unfortunately, it still can cause issues with daily life. Now, that one personally probably seems the hardest one to live with personally. I think that'd be the hardest one to live with, like something's still haunting me. It probably seems impossible to shake sometimes, and if anybody anybody out there is suffering with any of these conditions mentioned, please mention it in the comments and drop your experiences and stuff like that. The more we speak about it, the more we can understand. And lastly, and by no means least, is schizoaffective disorder, which is sometimes I didn't even know existed. Now, this is a combination of schizophrenia symptoms along with mood disorder symptoms. Imagine dealing with the delusions of schizophrenia while also managing depression or mania. It's a double whammy, really, and that could probably feel really, really overwhelming. Now, I believe breaking these stigmas is crucial because misconceptions lead to fear, as you see by news or movies and stuff like that. When a certain character or a story is saying the person's schizophrenic, you think he's bounced off the wall, absolutely psychotic. There's very difference between schizophrenic and psychotic, and I think that's where it's very, very blurred. Now, people with schizophrenia are violent or dangerous, but that's what lack of information and lack of conversation has brought. It's fear. If you were out in a group of friends and you spoke to them and you were open with them and told them that you were a diagnosed schizophrenic, your group of friends will probably go from, say, if you had a circle of 10 people, you'd probably go down to a circle of 2 or 3, because it's a fear of it. And this sort of video and this sort of conversation needs to be addressed, because I think, sometimes a schizophrenic person does need a circle of friends, understanding friends as well, and they're very hard to find, in my opinion, and in my personal opinion anyway. What I've experienced, I've had exactly that. Once my friends found out what I was diagnosed with, should we say, it went downhill very quickly. So they're not violent. They're just trying to navigate a world that often doesn't understand them. Everyone's experience is unique. It's as unique as the illness itself and as the person. And empathy is vital. Me personally being diagnosed, and if someone told me they had a different mental illness, I'd be empathetic. I'd want to know more about how to understand how they get through the day. Conversation and education, I think, the two buzzwords today. But remember, mental health affects us all, and we should approach these conversations with compassion, not fear. If you or someone you know is struggling, reach out to them, get them to reach out for help. Resources are out there, and no one should face this alone. No one should face a new diagnosis or a historical diagnosis alone. Nobody should have to do that. So thanks for joining me today. We've unpacked the different types of schizophrenia. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it to spread the awareness, and don't forget to subscribe for more informative content. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Have you encountered any of the misconceptions about schizophrenia? Let's share our thoughts. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye.